Welcome back to Beers Up Sports Talk. Sibo in the house, Debo in the house. Victory Tuesday. I mean, this is just all too common now. The end of the season is here. The Bills and the Packers keep winning. The playoffs start this Saturday. Let's get into it. What are you drinking, D? What are you drinking?
I'm off the beer tonight. I am drinking a Mule Kick. It's a ginger beer from Drunken Rabbit. It's ginger with pineapple, agave, and cayenne.
And how is it?
I've had them before. Not bad.
Yeah.
Not bad, no. I mean, not my favorite thing in the world, but you know, when you're low on the beers and the beverages, you grab what you got and you go.
Well, here's what I'm thinking. It's a brand new year, and we've drank IPAs like 95% of the time. And, you know, I think it's important for us to kind of diversify our palate. And so I, too, am doing something different. I got a UFO Winter Blonde.
Okay.
And it is a blonde vanilla coffee ale. Cheers to you, UFO. I like coffee. I like beer. I like vanilla. This can't really go wrong. Yeah, I can get down with that. Here's the thing. I've had a taste of it before. I don't think I could drink 6 of them, but I can have one. It's pretty good. Ice cold, can't go wrong.
That is the most important, is a nice ice cold.
Right. And I got my hipster glass. I got my winter hat on inside, very hipster. I feel like I'm just doing that thing. Anyway, let's get into it. Packers take down the Bears, as they should, to finish off the season. Give me your last thoughts on the regular season.
Yeah, I mean, not much to talk about in the game. The line held up after losing David Bakhtiari for the season to a ACL tear. You know, the biggest concern going into the playoffs now is getting off the field on 3rd and 4th down. I think at one point the Bears were 4 for 4 on 4th down, and you know Packers ran only 44 offensive plays compared to almost 85 for the Bears. But you know what? They won, and they won pretty big. Again, if you're letting a team get first downs on 4th down 4 times in a row, Brady, Breeze, Russell Wilson, they're gonna kill you in that situation. So that's something, you know, Matt LaFleur, he talked about it, and he's like, our cornerbacks got to step up and get closer to the line and not give them a 4 or 5 yard cushion. So hopefully that's something that's going to change going forward. You know, typical Packers game, really good offensively, and you know they're just proficient, and I love to see it. And I'm ready for 2 weeks from now.
Well, I was going to say, you get the bye, right? And
that's the most important thing.
And you either get the Bucks, who you're probably going to spend the next 14 days trying to figure out, since you guys took a beat from them early in the year, right?
Yep.
Or it's the Washington football team, which just isn't very, very good. I mean, I know they're playing better, but like they're just squeaking by a Philly team, and we'll get to that in a little bit, who pretty much tried to throw that game away. Like, they're not a very good team, and so like you've got 2 weeks to prepare. One of those teams you know a little bit better than the other, but the other team isn't very good. So set up to be in a nice position.
And we'll get more into the playoffs a little bit later. But I mean, it could also be the Rams, and it could also be Chicago, in theory, right?
Right.
I mean,
right. In theory,
can happen. Saints might still be without Kamara with the COVID. So we'll see what happens. Rest up some players. Got to buy. Defense looks good. Offense looks good. You know, it's that, man, do you really want them to sit because of how good they're playing? I'm glad they got to play this game. I didn't like, you know, what Kansas City did, and they sat everybody. Like, keep it going, and just.
Yeah, but I just worry that you risk injuries. Like, that's my biggest thing, right? Like, my biggest concern for the Packers wouldn't be whether or not they're going to be able to get up for the game in 2 weeks, is whether or not someone tests positive.
Yeah.
Next Sunday.
Right.
You know, like, and then brings it into the practice. Like, honestly, this year, that's the thing that worries me the most.
Yeah.
It's almost like playing this next week gives players the incentive to keep going, minus the Browns. But like you you've got 2 weeks, you've got 14 days, you got guys that are going to get time off. Like, you just hope that they stay focused. Like,
Yeah.
I think the Packers are going to get up. Aaron Rodgers isn't going to let that team slack one bit. So, like, I'm not worried about them. And to your point on the Chiefs, like, and I'll talk a little bit about the Bills. Like, rest your guys. You don't want any injuries. I mean, I was watching that Bills game on Sunday, praying in the second half that guys like Matt Milano, who are still out there, and Levi Wallace, who is still out there, didn't roll an ankle before this playoff game.
Yeah, it's weird how if most of the time when we're talking about playoff teams sitting players, it's usually the offense, and they don't sit the defense as much as they do offensive players. So that's something to look into.
Yeah, it's interesting. And I'll say this about the Bills game. That was a full-on smackdown. And it was a smackdown with the backups in. I know Tua didn't play very well. I don't know if Fitzpatrick wasn't available, but the Dolphins weren't winning that game. I mean, the Bills are playing really, really good right now on both sides of the ball, and they're making it difficult for teams to do anything because, one, their offense pretty much can't be stopped. And two, their defense is good enough to make plays here and there and get enough 3 and outs and get off the field that they can get the ball back. And again, that game was tight, early in the game. And then the Bills just got hot, and Josh Allen threw a couple of touchdowns. I mean, they got the ball back with like a minute something left. And I had already figured Allen was done for the day, and they brought him out for the 2-minute warning and just scored another touchdown,
Yeah.
So I think again, they're in a good place. They're hot. They're scoring a lot of points. I think they're averaging 40 something points the last 3 games. Indy's going to be a tough matchup, but I'm feeling good. I know Indy's going to run the ball well. I know that they're going to do some things to trying to keep the Bills on their toes, but I'm confident. But this game on Sunday was great because, again, you finished 6-0 in the division. You beat the crap out of the Dolphins. I heard some Dolphins folks complaining online that we were running up the score on them. Play a little defense for me one time when the backups are in. I mean, the running back they just signed off the practice squad scored 2 touchdowns. Like, stop. Yeah, stop, bruh. Like, we're not running up the score. You just suck. And you were about to make the playoffs.
Right.
Like, please. And again, to hear that Diggs won the wide receiving title, that's awesome. Receiving yards or whatever it is, he deserves it. He was awesome.
Yeah.
Let's get to the playoffs.
Yeah, the playoffs are going to be awesome. I mean, it should be. It's NFL definitely did. It's a money grab, obviously, but the fact that when I went to look at the matchups and I saw 3 games each day, I was kind of like, yes, it's not just 2, it's 3. Let's 2 days of pure football. Not that.
I'm glad I'm not like 25 and going out to the bar because we couldn't make 2 games, D. There's no chance we'd make 3 games.
No doubt.
All right, let's talk a little football. Let's talk coaching carousel.
Cool.
So you had Black Monday, which kind of was started on Sunday with the Jets getting rid of Gase. And I feel like it might have even, got leaked into Tuesday, but I'm not really sure. But here's what we got. We got the Jets. We got the Texans. Yep. We got the Chargers. We got the Jags. We got the Falcons. We got the Lions. First question. If you were a head coach, which job would you want?
So I think it would be between the Chargers and the Jacksonville Jaguars.
That's banana land. That's
Why?
Crazy talk.
You wouldn't want the Chargers job?
No, I want the Texans job.
Okay. So they are $24 million under the cap, like over the cap. So they're already in financial peril. If they're going to have to franchise Will Fuller to do anything. They have no 1st or 2nd round picks. It's just I don't see. They have 1/3 and 5 in the 4th through 7th. How are they going to get better? They're going to have to cut a couple people. There's a possibility that Watt's not going to be there next year because that's how bad their cap space is. Right now,
I get that. But these coaches are
$30 million cap space for the Chargers. For the Chargers, they have a 1st rounder, a 2nd rounder, a 3rd rounder. Awesome. Jags are $81 million under the cap. They can do whatever they want.
They stink, and they don't have a quarterback.
They're going to have Trevor Lawrence or Justin Fields.
Okay.
And they're going to be good in
great.
2 to 3 years. Just like
Says who? Says who? The Jets? The Jets drafted a quarterback 3 years ago. How's that working out for you?
Sam Darnold is not on the same level as what is coming out of.
I would completely disagree. I think that's banana land. I think Trevor Lawrence is good, but we don't know how he's going to how he's going to transition to the NFL. He should be good. Justin Fields, maybe he'll be good. I mean, he looked good in the semifinals.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like, give me Deshaun Watson. Give me one of the best players in the NFL. I'll figure out something.
I think you're going to see a lot of these teams, the Jets, the Lions, not the Eagles, the Falcons and the Texans are going to be either cutting or getting rid of some of their talent or trying to trade it. Like, I could see the Falcons trying to dangle Matt Ryan or Julio out there. I know that seems ridiculous, but I could see them just being like, we need to cut bait at some point. They're $25 million under. It's yeah.
You mean over the cap?
Huh?
I get that, but there's ways to. The NFL is great at doing deals and pushing the money down the road. And when you have Deshaun Watson, you don't rebuild. You can't.
I don't think they're rebuilding, but I don't know.
So that's what I mean. They're going to push the money down. Right. They're going to franchise folks. They're going to push the money down the road and find a way to get under the cap and get players in camp. And again, I don't know. That's the team I would take.
It does sound like the cap is going to be lower than it was this year. And so that means that franchise tags are going to be a little less. But I mean, how could you? I mean, Justin Herbert. I mean, I think that Chargers job is just as intriguing as Houston. Because
that's my number two. I mean, that would be my number two. I wouldn't touch Jacksonville.
The reason I
with a 10-foot pole.
If you get to do it, you get to do everything yourself, and it's on you. And I think with the Chargers, I think even with Houston, I mean, I guess they're looking for a GM, but I don't know. I think that it's a possibility. I mean, I think the Chargers blew it by firing Lynn. I think he deserves at least one more year.
Yeah, but you can't give a coach a 1-year contract. You can't have him on a poison bill contract. The reality is that Anthony Lynn had a Hall of Fame quarterback and an awesome defense and really good wide receivers and didn't win.
He went 9-7 and 12-4.
Didn't win. If you're that good, you should be winning more than that.
Okay. I mean, one team wins the Super Bowl every year.
How well did the Chargers do in the playoffs?
Just as good as when Tomlinson and they were the number one seed. They lost in the first.
Here's my thing on Lynn. I think he's a good guy. I think he should get another shot, but I don't think he's taking that team to the next level. That's it.
I mean, they were literally 6 games were within 7 points, and he made some blunders that cost them games. He had a rookie quarterback where maybe he didn't make some good decisions. I think that they were literally 3 games away from being talked about as the 7th seed this year. So
3 games. That's almost a quarter of the NFL season. That's crazy talk.
Right.
All right, so let's run down some of these guys that are going to be coaches or could be coaches. Eric Bieniemy, who you have said if he doesn't get a job, it's BS.
It's absolutely BS.
You got Robert Saleh, the DC in San Francisco. Urban Meyer, who coaches for 5 years, has a heart issue, leaves for a couple of years, and then comes back and coach. Apparently wants buco bucks. You got OC in Buffalo, Brian Dabble. Love for him to stay, but whatever. You got Jason Garrett getting some sniffs, which that's crazy. Anthony Lynn, I wonder if he gets another shot. Probably not this year, but just because it looks like. And what's sad is that like so often in the NFL we've seen coaches like Adam Gase get a job right after getting fired, after he was really bad. And here's Anthony Lynn, and I agree with you. I don't think he did a bad job, but like he clearly knows what he's doing, and he's probably not going to get a shot for a couple of years. Other names I've seen: Marvin Lewis, Byron Leftwich, Colts defensive coordinator Matt Eberflus, and the Titans OC Arthur Smith. If you're a team, who are you hiring?
Adam, no. If I'm the Bills, that's what I get. I mean, I think Salah, and I like Dabble, and I think Bieniemy should have been a head coach this year, if you ask me, and you kind of did. So I think those are your top 3. I get Urban Meyer. There hasn't been many coaches make the switch. Kingsbury's doing all right. Chip Kelly bombed. Spurrier
Well,
bombed.
you got Kingsbury, you got Rule down in Carolina. You've got a little bit more
there, but have they won? I mean, if you're going to ask about going 12-4 and that's not enough winning, I know he went 5-7 the next year, but or 5-11. But I don't know. I think, sure, if you want to give him a chance, why not? But I think even Leftwich would be a pretty cool person to look at.
I like Leftwich. I like the enemy. I honestly just if I'm a owner or I'm a GM, like I'm trying to get an offensive mind in there. The NFL is so offensively focused.
Yeah.
And not that you can't have a hot coordinator. I mean, obviously the Bills have a defensive head coach and Brian Daboll's, been able to do a lot there. But like, I don't know, like if you're able to run the ball up and down the field for teams like the Bucks and teams like the Chiefs, and I know Andy Reid still does a lot of the play calling there, but like the enemy's been a big part of that. And like, I don't know, I agree with you. I think he deserves a shot. I think if I'm him, I'd love to go to a team like the Chargers where there is a quarterback, or even a place like the Texans where you could work with Deshaun Watson, who isn't going to need a whole lot of.
Then you add in Hunter Henry, so he has the experience with Kelsey, and maybe he can help him take that next step that everyone thought he was going to make. That would be where I think would be a fantastic fit.
Yeah.
And then he already knows Kansas City a little bit, so that would be good. A little rivalry.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know that I'm really interested in Marvin Lewis, Jason Garrett, Urban Meyer. I don't know. Those guys don't really do it for me.
I hear you.
I don't know. All right, let's talk about these Cleveland Browns, man.
Come on, stop browning.
You haven't made the playoffs since 2002. You are lucky that the Steelers decide to sit everybody.
Yes.
And you sneak in the back door of the playoffs.
Yep.
And now you will be without your head coach. Your special teams coordinator is going to be your head coach. Obviously the OC will be calling the plays. Shout out to Alex Van Pelt, #Bills. I mean, what the hell?
Yeah, like it's weird. Like, obviously Christmas did some things and New Year's did some things to people because, I think I read something today that in the last week, 70 players and coaches have tested positive in the NFL. Like, that's a lot. Like,
yeah,
they're traveling and it's the holidays, but like, I think Joe Judge, like when he was, and we're going to talk about the Philly thing, he went off. He's like, my running back coach hasn't seen his family since July. He just hasn't gone home. Like, these coaches or some of these coaches are just staying where they're supposed to be and staying with their team to help make sure the team stays healthy. And the players are like, fuck it, I'm going to do what I want. And I think that's so awful.
Yeah, and the reality is this was always going to be the case.
Right.
I mean, there was always going to be positive cases in the NFL. There was always going to be heightened positive cases around the holidays. You just feel bad for Browns fans because, again, if this was the Bills and they made it to the playoffs for the first time in forever, as they did 3 years ago, like, I'd be losing my shit. I'd be absolutely losing my shit. And again, like, I'm a fan, so whatever, I can get over it. But like, for a lot of these players, all they've heard in Cleveland is how bad they are and how they haven't made the playoffs and how, they've had 3 coaches in 3 years. Baker Mayfield's finally come around. You're finally getting the production that you want out of that offense. And now everything's in jeopardy. And if you bail out in this first round and it's against the Steelers, that's going to hurt even more.
Yeah.
It's going to be bad. If Ben Roethlisberger knocks out a beat-up Cleveland Browns team, whoo!
Have the names of the players been released? Who they were?
They have, but
like 3 coaches and then 2 players.
I think there's an offense like a Pro Bowl guard that's out. I was just reading it before this. Like, there's a bunch of players, and again, the players will probably be able to be back, but it doesn't seem like the coaches will.
Well, the two that are positive won't be back, but the contact tracing players should be, yes.
Yeah. Talking about a cluster F, let's talk about what happened Sunday night, Philadelphia between the Washington football team. I'm going to say this, and then I'm going to get out of the way and I'm going to let you talk. If Peterson had just said, look, we didn't really care about that game, I'd have been fine with it. But don't give me we want to see how Nate Sudfeld is going to be as a quarterback. Nate Sudfeld ain't a rookie. He ain't that good. And Jalen Hurts just got here. And I get that he wasn't playing a good game. I get that he was having a tough time, but they were still in that game.
Yeah.
Washington couldn't get anything going anyway. And to just swap out Hurts for a I'm gonna call him Dudfield, like guy's a bum. And you could tell after about 3 passes he wasn't going to do anything. But the whole we wanted to see what we had in him. Please stop. Like just say we didn't really care. And I Joe Judge can get on his high horse and talk all about that stuff, and I respect that. But Joe Judge, your team could have won a couple more games. That's all I'm going to say. You didn't go 500. So spare me the I'm never going to forget this Belichick talk. But Doug Peterson's a clown. And now your QB situation's all screwed up because no one believes you. Wentz wants out.
Right.
Hurts, the look on his face after he got benched was really? You're really going to bench me in the middle of this tight game? And you're obviously not going with Sudfeld, so I don't know what the hell's going on. There's a hot mess.
Yeah, I mean, so I've gone back and forth on all this. He said he was going to do that before the game started. So
I get that.
Here's my deal. He owes nobody anything.
Sure.
And this has happened before. It's just because the team that didn't make it got screwed.
Right.
I've seen it before where a team that's trying to get into the playoffs is playing a team that's not going to the playoffs and they sit all their players. It happens. It's happened in the NFL before. And it's not just the teams that are going to the playoffs. I agree with you. He probably would have made it much easier on himself if he just said, yeah, it wasn't important for us to win this.
Right. I don't and again, to your point, nobody owes, he doesn't owe anybody anything. Right. And I'll respect that. But I also think that what you do for your locker room now is now who's your quarterback next year? If it's Jalen Hurts, he's always going to be looking over his shoulder. If I miss a throw, are you going to bench me for whatever backup just so you can see what he's got?
Yeah, I think it should have been talked about within the team. If it wasn't he definitely said it in press conferences prior to the game that he wanted to get Sudfeld in there. So they should know. But I think when you're in the heat of the moment and you're playing and you're trying to win a game, because players really do want to win games. We saw it with the Jets. We saw it with the Jets. Yes, the front offices want the better pick, but the Jets players were we want to win. When they won and when they blew that game against Oakland, they were pissed. Or not Oakland, I'm sorry, Vegas. And then they won 2 in a row. They were ecstatic. Players want to win. They don't care about what position they're drafting.
I'll tell you this. I know it wouldn't happen, but I'd dump Peterson if I was in Philly. And go out and get one of these stud offensive guys and let them decide, do they want Hurts, do they want Wentz, and then go with it. The Philly's going to be better next year as long as they can stay healthy. And I think that's why Peterson knew he kind of had this in his back pocket. But I don't know. I thought it was an absolute clown show. And I'd prefer him to just say, listen, we don't really care about this game, so we're going to try out some stuff. And again, with Joe Judge, I respect him getting up and saying all that, but spare me the I like the stuff about our guys are always going to work hard. That's great. I don't necessarily think that if they're 15 and or 14-1 next year and that game doesn't matter and he sits all his people, he's going to get clowned. So we'll see what happens. Not that he's going to be 14-1, but
no doubt.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk playoffs. Let's talk first round. Let's do it. Hold on one second. I just put my seat down. Let's start with the AFC. First game, Titans-Ravens. Who you got?
So I was thinking about all the picks, and I'm like, man, I don't know how many upsets I'm gonna take in the first round. Like it feels very, I feel very comfortable. The seeding is 4-5.
4-5.
Tennessee being
Yep.
4, and I'm taking Baltimore, but they're actually favored in this game, 3.5. So I'm taking Baltimore. I think they're just really, really hot right now.
So hot right now.
It's so hot right now. Derrick Henry is obviously a beast, which we need to talk about. I
didn't want to even bring it up because he hit his mark and I'm wrong and it is what it is. I'll eat that one.
Yeah, but I mean, come on, 250 yards. Woo. That was crazy. 235, whatever. But yeah, monster. I think Baltimore is going to be able to do it. I think they have enough defense, and Lamar Jackson has figured out. I know Tennessee has been their spoil as of late, but I think Baltimore pulls it out.
Yeah, I picked the Ravens. I think it's more like I got to ride with my Baltimore folks, but like this game feels like one of those that like I don't know, really could go either way, and it's probably going to be down to the last couple of possessions. I mean, it's going to be, can the running game of the Titans keep the Ravens off the field? Because you're right, Lamar Jackson's hot right now, and if he starts cooking, it's tough, right? But if he can't get on the field because the Titans are controlling the ball, then it's a different story.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Steelers, Browns.
I want to let you take this one first.
Oh, it's Steelers. This might even be like a blowout. Like I know the Steelers haven't played great this season, and they kind of they fell apart a little bit down the stretch, and though they played a little better in the last couple of weeks before this previous week, I think the Browns thing is going to throw them up. And I know there could be the kind of like the folks get motivated and want to show up and show out, but like that's when you have your whole team there. They might not have their whole team there.
Right.
And I think one of the things I read about the guard, the offensive lineman is out. His backup just went on the injured list. So like if you're starting a third string guy at an inside line position, that's Baker Mayfield you got to worry about now.
Right.
Right.
Yep.
And I think the Steelers are well coached. They're going to be well prepared. Could be Ben's last run, though. I know he said he'll be back. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. You talk about, they had their 3-game losing streak, the Steelers. If they would have lost those games in week 2, 6, and 10 and finished with the same,
nobody would have blinked, right?
Like, that team's awesome, right? Yeah, I mean, I still worry about Pittsburgh's run game. They haven't really been able to do much. I know Connor has stepped up, has scored a couple touchdowns recently, but their run game is really rough. If Cleveland can figure out how to, pressure Ben and make him make a bad throws, you don't have to worry about the play action pass. So I mean, I'm still going Pittsburgh. And you're probably right. I think Cleveland might choke this in a way because of the stress of just getting in, losing to the Jets, and now COVID for like the third time in 4 weeks.
Well, and the practice facilities are closed. They can't practice. Like this is crazy. They can't.
So, I have the Steelers because they're a playoff team, and Ben knows how to win.
All right, Bills, Colts, Bills. Enough said. You got anything to add?
No, I mean, I know you said that you think it's gonna be a tough game. I actually don't think this is gonna be a tough game. I still am on the thing that Indianapolis isn't as good as their record has shown.
That was my thing. I thought that was my thing.
Yeah, and I said on the thing. But what's funny is both of our fraud teams made the playoffs. So yes, I have the Bills. I think they're going to win by a couple touchdowns.
Yeah, as long as they don't get the jitters, they should roll. All right, let's move over to the NFC. The Washington football team versus the Tom Brady Buccaneers. Who you got?
Unfortunately, I have to take the Bucs. I still would like to. I'd like to see the Washington football team pull it out, but I don't see it happening. I think they don't have a quarterback to do it. I think the defense is going to give Brady a little bit of fits. This is the kind of defense that does give him a hard time. Like they can get in there, they can knock him down, and if they can do that, you never know. But they're not going to be able to do it enough because Brady is the master at getting the ball out quick, and obviously we just saw Antonio Brown can still go. So
they got lots of weapons. Chase Young is a freak right now. I'm just going to say that. Like, that guy is ridiculous. What are your thoughts on folks clowning him?
I think it's ridiculous. Like, what's he supposed to say? I hope that Tom Brady plays terrible, and I'm going to try my best and hope we win. No, he's going to say, I'm going to go get him, because that's what you're supposed to do. That's his job.
Right.
He's not saying that we're going to beat him. He's just saying, I'm going to go try and get him. Like,
he's the face of the franchise, who's probably the defensive rookie of the year, who is an absolute stud.
Yep.
Him saying that is everything I want him to say. This team basically stumbled into the playoffs. And I say that because they barely beat a Philadelphia team who wasn't trying to get into the playoffs. I watched a little bit of that game Sunday night. They're not good. They can't move the ball. And Alex Smith is good. But I'm telling you, I'm not signing him next year.
No.
He's just, I mean, and I've liked Alex Smith throughout the years, but like he's never going to be 100%. And like, if you're trying to build a franchise, that's not the guy I'm going with. There's going to be enough quarterbacks out there.
Are you willing to sign him to a backup role?
No, because he's probably going to want to see what's out there and probably try to get money.
Yeah.
Especially, and the only reason I say that is all these coaching changes, you know, not that any of them have necessarily like, you know, a quarterback situation that could open up. Maybe the Lions are one, but like, I don't know. I think he's probably going to try and get some maybe close to starter money, but maybe the Washington football team says, "Hey, listen, we want you as backup." But you know, they got their boy Kyle Allen, so I don't know.
Yeah,
he knows the playbook.
Wherever he goes, he's a backup.
Yeah. I'm going Bucks. I think they win by a bunch. I don't even think it ends up being that close, but that's neither here nor there. All right, Seahawks, Rams, and you got Jared Goff with a thumb that might not work. Get the backup. You got Sean McVay saying he might play both guys. I'm just going to say it. I'm going Seahawks. I'm just going Seahawks. That's it.
Yeah, I want to go Rams. Like I do. If Goff was healthy and Akers and Henderson were healthy, I think, and Kupp, I think I would go Rams. But it's Seahawks. As good as the Rams defense is, there's no offense there, and Seattle's defense has really picked it up. There's a possibility that Adams isn't playing, Jamal Adams, so that would be a huge loss for them. But there's no Goff or broken thumb Goff. It's gonna be hard.
And I mean this is one of those games where like the Seahawks should win by like 17, but it's gonna be like
by like 4.
Yeah, it's going to be that way where like the Seahawks again, early in the season, they were putting up like 40 every game. Then all of a sudden they stopped scoring and everybody's like, what happened? They should win this game by a lot, but it's just not going to happen. Another team that backdoored into the playoffs, Chicago Bears, Saints, Bears. Who you got?
Saints big?
Probably, yeah. Probably.
I mean, the Saints run defense is better than the Packers, so they're going to stop that, shut that down, and then it's over. I mean, they're going to get off the field a little bit better than the Packers did, and I don't think it's going to be close. I mean, Murray was a close contact, right? And Kamara was positive. So at worst, Murray's back. There's possibility Kamara's back, but Murray's back. He can run over the Bears. The Saints are going to be fine, and it's going to be pretty big.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I'll take that. I just think better team. And I also think like this is potentially Breeze's last go round. So like, I mean, not that I think teams show up for that kind of stuff, but I think they're going to do everything they can to try and make it one last run to the Super Bowl.
Nothing for us to argue about. We went.
No, man, come on. To your point, like a lot of this is pretty straightforward. And, again, if the Browns are healthy, maybe I pick the Browns.
That's the one game that I was thinking where I would go.
If you take a better team, or same with Goff. I mean, if Goff's healthy, maybe you take that team. If you take a team with a winning record instead of the Washington football team, maybe that game's a little bit different. But again, because of the way it's set up, it just is what it is.
And there's no, there's travel, but there's no real home field advantage anymore. Maybe the Bills now, because those
Bills got 6,700 people. Which I imagine they're just going to they got to spread them out, but it'd be hilarious if they just crammed them at the 50-yard line. I don't know. It's not going to make much of a difference. I mean, that place holds what, 30, 40,000, 50,000? Like 6,000 ain't going to do anything.
Yeah, I think you're going to get the second round is going to be very interesting as far as picking goes.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. You got any last call for me?
Yes, I do. Back in 2019, Adam Gase was looking for a head coaching job, and the Green Bay Packers interviewed him. I just want to say thank you to Goot for not falling for his offensive genius and hiring Matt LaFleur, who has led the Packers to back-to-back 13-3 seasons and 2 byes in a row.
I mean, do you think he really stood a chance? Like, do you think Gate? I mean, he had to, right? Like, they interviewed him, but like, right. I mean, I hope that guy doesn't get a head coaching job ever again. I would have loved for him to stay as the coach of the Jets because they would have continued to stink. Even though, like, I have some type of affinity for Sam Darnold, clearly. But like, I'm sorry, like the guy can't be a head coach. Some guys can be offensive coordinators and they can't be head coaches. I feel like, again, we listed all those names and one we didn't list was Josh McDaniels, who several times in his career has been the hottest thing out there, was a head coach, drafted. Did he draft? He did, right?
He drafted the team.
And you know, I'm now my mind's spinning. All right, that's it for tonight. We're done. Adam Gase just blew my mind. I started talking about Tim Tebow. Y'all have a good night. We'll see y'all next time.
Peace.